Big eyes and little U's. What you know about that? All right, cool. Big eyes and little U's. I'm gonna get right to it. Hope everybody enjoying their last day of their long weekend. Had a blessed day. Been safe, enjoying their time with their family. But big eyes and little U's. I just wanted to speak on this. It's been on my heart, on my mind. Personally, I can relate to it. I just thought I could share it with any listeners, any subscribers. This concept, the core idea of big eyes and little U's. I'm gonna start off by saying, from my background, we all thought we was big eyes. There was no little U's. Growing up in my generation, I'm 40 now, and when we was teenagers, we all was moving on the time of big eyes. We was all moving on the time of, I'm the head nigga in charge, I'm the leader, which is a poison. There's no little U's. You can see that right now, it's still playing out, this formula. But I'm gonna speak from the perspective of looking back. I believe there should be little U's. That big eyes should be respected. A leader should be respected. Yeah, even if he is, on some all me. What you think about that? I look at it like it's necessary for a leader to be like, oh, I'm doing this for me. Even at the expense of the little U's. Of course, it ain't got to be fucking abuse or detrimental to their future. But, like, just follow me. All I'm saying is like, it shouldn't be on no shit like everybody want to be a leader. Everybody can't be a fucking leader. That's the thing. That's what my point is. Everybody cannot be no fucking leader. Everybody's not built like that. we groomed up in this society. Everybody want to be a leader. Like, you know, everybody got the lingo down. You know, they got their chest poked out, you know, looked the part, motherfucker dressed the part, all that. You know, everybody want to be the leader. It sounds good. That's one thing that I learned hearing growing up. I never liked when somebody say sounds good, but anyway, yeah, everybody can't be no leader, man. It's like to stand down and respect a leader before you. You know, that should be you know, taught more. Like, play your role, play your position. Now, for anybody that don't know the concept of big eyes and little U's, yeah, it's about you know, a big eye is somebody who places their self before others. Makes them, you know, they're more important. They're very egotistic, you know. They provide authority, you know, they move on authority. They define the rules. They take all the credit. They control the narrative. They control things. Now for the little U's is based on, at the expense of the big eye, they're less significant. You know, they're not valued. They might feel like, you know, they don't have no worth. But I wanted to speak on this, like that dynamic can be changed. Like, it still could be a big eye, little U, but we can move in a different, like we can apply it in a different way. Just follow me. You know, I'm gonna go somewhere with this. Like, I just believe like we can move in a different way. Like, we can still apply that. I also use the term golden goose a lot. I always use the term golden goose. Like, protect the golden goose. That's not pushed a lot in at least what I see. You know, you might have a different perspective, but that's what I see is your family, your friends. Everybody really don't be on that supportive or on the same wavelength frequency towards a common goal like they say they are. They might have the lingo, you know. Nobody want to look like a killjoy or a hater. So, you know, people like to cloak and fucking mask that shit. When really, they operating on big eye time. They operating on big eye time. And if everybody operating on big eye time, shit, we ain't gonna go nowhere. We just gonna end up killing each other. You're gonna eat your own tail off. Sometimes you got to stand down and be like, hey, man, you got to recognize, be real with yourself, humble yourself, and be like, man, I ain't even got that big eye energy. I talk that talk, but I ain't even got that big eye energy. I ain't no fucking leader. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I look at it. We got too many motherfuckers that are just like saying a bunch of shit, or, you know, the tangibles, you know, whatever they got. They make them make you think that that they don't moving on general time, and everybody ain't no fucking leader, man. No, I don't want nobody to be on no literally big eye, like fuck everybody else. That's the poison. But we can apply that same kind of like, hey, there's a general, and then you have other supporting roles, and we all gonna get to the common goal. That's how it should be. That's how it should be. Like, think about it like when anybody that plays sports, football, you know, you got your QB, you know what I mean, your guards, your left tackles, all that. Like, it's just everybody has to play their role in order for this thing to pop. Same thing with basketball, point guard, you know what I mean? Like the center, everybody play their role, man. Of course, once it becomes into the poison of a nigga become operating on big eye, like fuck everybody else, yeah, you gonna notice it. It's very detrimental to the whole squad. But also, when it's just a bunch of little U's, like they don't even value yourself, you know, they don't even value themselves. You gotta remember that. Little U's don't even feel like they worth anything. In a nutshell, to me, little U's operate like crash dummies. They need guidance. They need somebody to step up and be like, man, fuck what you talking about. We're gonna do this. And 9 times out of 10, shit, they're gonna be with it because they really don't have no agenda. Look at it like this. You see it in everything. You see it in everything. This whole system that you're in here in America operates on big eye, little U energy. This whole system. You get up, go to work, as if you don't, you know, if you don't own your own shit and you run your whole shit, more power to you. But, you know, for the rest of us that have to go clock in and have to, you know, go punch in and work for somebody else, yeah, you 9 times out of 10, you operating on little U energy, and your I don't like calling nobody boss, but you know, your supervisor or what have you, he's operating on big I energy, most definitely. He's on some, I'm trying to get mines, fuck what you trying to get. And I'm gonna get mines through using you. And when you stuck in that cycle, yeah, it breeds. Yeah, I want to say, I don't know if animosity is the word. I think that's too light. But it breeds. We gotta take down the big eye. It breeds that. They know that shit too. Most times a big eye is operating on knowing that the little U's is gonna want to fucking take them down one day. The little U's ain't satisfied. The little U's ain't eating. They know that. They already know that. So they got a bunch of loss prevention tactics already set in place for you. Just in case you step out of line, just in case you get off the path of doing what you're supposed to do, playing your role. Like you're not gonna mess up their whole operation. And then they'll replace you and get a whole nother you. Anyway, big eyes and little U's, I look at it like I believe that equation is necessary. You might disagree. I think it's necessary minus the control complex, the fuck everybody else complex. Like if it's on some equal and also just everybody, just you know, people actually embracing their role and who they are and, you know, the role they play, it would be beneficial to the whole operation, to the whole, you know what I mean, to the whole team. whatever team that you know what I mean, you and your friends, you and your family members, what have you. Because what I see nowadays is everybody is on big I energy, and they're not really like that. And that causes, people lose money like that. You lose a lot of money like that. You can't form nothing with that kind of energy. You can't form none. You can't possibly think that you're gonna run a successful operation with everybody being big eyes. Like think about it. Like y'all trying to y'all trying to form a company. You trying to y'all got somebody got a bright idea, and everybody's agreeing on it. Everybody really just motivated off the money at first. You motivated off the money. It's normally one or two that has the vision of, let's play the long game. Like I'm in it for the grind. I'm in it for the, the process. I'm in it for the camaraderie and the money, and all that money gonna come. The money is gonna come. Long as I keep my head down and play my position, I'm gonna be peace. We all gonna be peace. Like you only have like one or two that be really in it for looking out for everybody. But that's hard to do nowadays. I could say that it's very. I don't share many ideas with people I fucking know because I know they're not on that type of time. Most people are comfortable being on the grid. Being the little U to the big I of the government. They love being on that. They're comfortable on that type of shit. They're comfortable knowing that all I got to do is pay this little light bill, send my money to the company, and then my lights is on. You don't know how the shit is operating. You don't know how none of this shit go. All you know is you send the money into them, and they'll take care of you. They're comfortable going to the grocery store and picking out, your chicken or your steak or whatever. You don't know how to process none of this shit. You don't know how to catch no animal. You don't know how to raise no animals, none of that shit. People are just comfortable being a little you, and at the same time projecting like they a fucking big I. Which is crazy because being a big I, you saying fuck everybody, but at the same time it's like, you're not really like that anyway. You're not no leader. If shit crash right now, you don't know what to do. You don't own no satellites for this internet, none of that shit. You don't own no farm, you ain't got, you know what I mean? Those people are comfortable being like that, like wearing the mask, saying that, saying the sloganisms like, oh, I'm a go-getter and shit like that. And it's like, I don't believe you. You need more people. I don't believe you. I'm on this wavelength all the time. I look at everything, every activity that me and my people have to fucking go through to just live. I look at it like it's very, I don't like that you're controlled in every activity that you gotta do. And that's definitely little you energy. Me having that outlook, that anger towards that. I'm like, man, shit, I want to take down the fucking big I. I don't really like that these niggas is using me to keep this shit in motion. Let me do my own thing. Even your big celebrities and big athletes and all them shits, they little used, man. They little used. They got a ceiling. They don't really have the outlook. Maybe they do, but at the same time, you don't. The reason why I say I don't think they do, because they don't fucking break out. Like, why they don't walk away from the NFL and start their own league? Why they don't walk away from the NBA and start their own league? Why they don't walk away from the fucking record labels and the streaming industry and all this shit and just start their own motion? Go back to just pushing, hard copy CDs and shit. Or now you ain't even got to do CDs, flash drive or something. Why it ain't like that? Why you don't be, there's not many Dolphs. Dolph was moving on, rest in peace. Young Dolph was moving on. Big I energy, but at the same time, it wasn't no I. It was moving on leader energy. I don't know if people really looked at it like that. Like, they might just see the money and all that shit and stop there. And it's like, nah, man, this dude was actually moving in a whole different wavelength, which most men, if you ask me, when I think of a man, that's what a man should naturally be. Like, at the expense of my works, of my labor, at the expense of my labor and my works, everybody around me gonna be straight. Everybody ain't really like that, man. Everybody ain't really like that. Like, truly be about your people. Be about whoever, that's under your wing. Truly be about building an empire. You can have a bright idea, you can have an umption, a whole bright idea. The majority of the people around you, it probably stops at how we gonna do it. They don't see the vision. I just read something the other day that made perfect sense. I always looked at it like this, but it's always confirmation. This internet shit, I love how information, we're able to tap into information for this reason. It's gonna be confirmation and be like, oh man, there's other human beings on this same kind of wavelength. That's dope. But anyway, boom, I read that. He was like, you can't be mad at nobody for not seeing your vision. And that's facts, man. Like, for anybody that's on the type of time like I'm on, like entrepreneurship through everything. I'm talking about all the way down to your toilet paper. During the pandemic, when there was a toilet paper shortage, I was like, man, where can I get pallets? Where can I get pallets of TP? And put a logo on that shit and do the same thing. You know what I mean? Fuck being a consumer. Just looked at it like, oh man, where can I? And I've been doing that even way before that. On the legal tip, I don't know, that fuck shit. Even drug dealers, they don't understand. They little used, man. They little used. But anyway, from that tip, you look at it like, man, how can I capitalize on this shit? Not even on the same spirit like the government, like the United States of America does. They made the slaves little used, you see what I'm saying? They devalued, treated them like shit, barbaric shit, savage shit. To explain reparations, for anybody that's naysaying reparations, that's what That's what that equation is. Big eyes and little U's. Like you got straight up motherfuckers use the labor of foundational black Americans to get where we're at right now. And they never was compensated. Never was compensated. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what the culture here is, at least what they try to push. When I say they is, you know, them folks, it's okay to be that way. Cause really they can't play the position of a worker. They don't got it in them. Not everybody, yeah. Everybody want to be the leader. Everybody want to be the big dog, you know, the boss and all that shit. They don't be having that in them either. That's trial and error. They don't have no strategy. The strategy is at the expense of making you do for them. Kick their feet up and be like, fuck you. And then you come to them like on some, please, can I have, you know, and it's like, nah, man. And that's the thing. I'm not even on that please shit. That's what they actually know this shit. Like there's a lot of motherfuckers that ain't no begging. I hate that these other groups or anybody naysaying reparations, they think that this shit is on some like niggas is begging or sitting on their hands like please and all this shit. It's like if motherfuckers really want to, they could just strap up and just go get it on some real shit. And that's what y'all really want. You know, y'all like carnage and shit. Y'all like all that gory shit. Like don't nobody really want to, you know what I mean? Like forfeit their shit or position on that. You're not gonna run up on motherfuckers. That's one thing, and that's what you don't see. So you could talk that from a distance, from a safe place. You a victim and you begging and all this shit. You could say that from a safe place all you want. But you know it ain't really like that in real life. But you see it in everything. You see it in your, you know, in your schools, your churches, you know, in the government, in your workplace. Big eyes and little U's. Big eyes being the, you know, your judges, your police, they move on big eye energy most definitely. Big eyes definitely, it comes back and bites them in the ass all the time. Even if they have their little loss prevention bullshit in place. They're preventative, you know what I mean? Even if they take preventative measures, they got, you know, different laws that protect them and shit. They can, one in particular that just came to mind, a police can shoot somebody broad daylight in the street unjustly, and then now this nigga got something to fall on, he's getting paid leave and shit. Like that's a loss prevention measure right there. Knowing that what he did was totally wrong. Happens all the time. From the highest level to the lowest level. That's just the most extreme shit that I could think of right now. Yeah, somebody unaliving somebody and then having a whole the blue line or whatever, protecting them. But you see it in everything though, you know. The more privileged is the big eyes. You know, the more privileged, the motherfuckers that's across the tracks or, you know, in your city, they got Their whole shit is landscaped, and you know they don't have abandoned buildings and boarded up buildings. They don't have homeless on their blocks. They don't allow that shit. You know, it's not over policed in the manner of trying to boost up their numbers off just petty bullshit. Then you got the little U's across on the other side of town. You know, the marginalized, the hood, you know what I mean? The poverty. That deal with the over policing in a whole different matter. Like it's this antagonist vibe. They're not really for the people. They don't see you and be like, hey, how's your mom doing? How your grandma doing? They're not on that type of time. They're approaching you on some whole big eye energy. They approaching you on some like, fuck you. You just another head that I'm gonna put in this bed. Or, shit, you just another body. But like I was saying, big I and little U, I believe it could be flipped. I believe that equation could be flipped. It could be used in the manner of instead of you know the so-called big I being on some like fuck everybody else on the expense of the little U's. It should be on some shit like, hey, I'm the leader, and you gotta respect that. You gotta play your role, and if you know you play your role, we gonna get to our goal. Like I'm not doing this on no shit like fuck you or it's just for me. Like, but you gotta respect. I just look at it like you gotta respect the big I, the leader. You gotta respect the leader on some shit because he has the know-how, you know, he has the strategy. He might be a good orator, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to sharpen my skills on. You know, he might be a good, you know, person to motivate. Everybody is not like that. So as a so-called little you should step down and boom, or even in that equation, that's another thing as far as flipping the meaning behind big I's and little U's. As a little you shouldn't look at yourself as devalued or no worth or what have you. You should look at yourself like, hey man, I play a very important role. I play a very essential piece in this, and you know what I mean, in this goal, in this path that we got here, in this, you know what I'm saying? I guess it just comes down to humility, man. It comes down to humility, real shit. People be thinking that they more than what they actually are, but you can get there. Like, you know, being in this microwave fucking society, man, everybody wants it like now. Everybody wants it now. And I'm not coming from a thee than thou or just pointing fingers shit. I'm speaking from my experience. Like, I want shit now too, but I've also had to humble myself and be like, oh, I gotta chip away. You know what I mean? I gotta play the little you for the corporation, for the, you know, the white plantation, the corporate plantation, you know. But all the while, I'm actually a leader outside of that shit. I'm a leader outside of that shit. And I'm just gonna chip away. You break away from that shit, and then you can form your own, or you can form your own simultaneously while you working with the white plantation, with the, you know what I mean, the corporations and shit working for people. Like, and you gotta put that pride of man, I feel like taking down the damn, you know, fuck that. Like, Boom, here's a true story. Cause I've been a supervisor doing demolition, and I remember hearing one of my employees underneath me, one of my workers, he had said, he was talking about the owner of the company that we all work for. He was like, "Oh, you see, they got talking about their new truck or some shit like that," and he was like coming from a spirit of hating on the dude pulling up in the new truck, the owner pulling up in the new truck, and I had to check him and I had to stop him right in his track, mainly because I don't want to hear it. I'm like, I'm not even on that type of time. Good for him, you know what I mean? I'm gonna get me one day, or that's actually, I don't even want one of those. I'd rather do something else, but good for them. That's what makes them happy. But anyway, I shut it down like, hey man, what would you do if you was the owner? You know what I mean? I had to ask the dude straight up, like, would you if you was able to go buy yourself a new caddy truck or whatever, big ass, bourbon or whatever, would you do it? Like, and he was like, yeah, you right, exactly. Like, how you gonna hate on him because you in a position where you can't get it right now, but they can. You working for him. At one point, you don't even know his background. Pick his brain, have a conversation with him. See where he came from. Yeah, there's a lot of, like when I talk about them folks, yeah, a lot of them don't come from ever playing the role of being the worker or the bottom or what have you. That's all a myth. Especially on the history of my people, of this country. But yeah, you'll see somebody you'll see somebody in a better position than you, and your first approach, your first go-to thought that comes to mind is, man, and I just think that's crazy. It's bigger than just hater shit. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like, you got something deeply wrong with you if you're looking at a motherfucker and being like, I gotta take it. I gotta take his, or, fuck him. He think he all that, or she thinks she, like, that's crazy to me. Like, you ain't in position. Put yourself in position. And then how you gonna do it when you get to that position? Are you coming from the spirit? You don't even know if that owner is coming from the spirit of fuck all of y'all. Like, you know what I mean? Y'all have company picnics and, dinner, holiday dinners and shit like that. That's their way of showing their appreciation. Some of you are ungrateful of that shit, but at the same time, you can't be no big eye. You can't even be that leader because you won't even be operating on that type of time. You might be more selfish than even the motherfucker you work for. Like, it's all for me. It's all for me. I mean, how can I cut costs here just so I can put more in my pocket? Truthfully, I think that's how most motherfuckers are on that type of time right there. You can see it just in going to the grocery store or whatever. Let it be a shortage. Motherfuckers is willing to kill you over that last item or whatever. Or even parking spots. You can see all this shit. You can see the psychology and all of this. People drive like they're on the NASCAR track, like they're trying to beat you somewhere that neither one, y'all don't even have the same destination. Y'all don't even know each other. You don't know them from a can of paint, and it's like, what the fuck is going on here? But that type of energy will be their demise. They don't even know it though, because they so caught up in me. They so caught up in, or fuck you, me. That's the only part that I would take away from the big I. I guess it ain't no I then. This is like, I'm just moving on some general time though, moving on some leader time then. Because once you start being on that selfish shit, like, I gotta do this at the expense of you. You gotta sacrifice for me to get where I gotta get to go, where I gotta go. Yeah, that's where it becomes a problem. That's where it becomes a problem. And then on the flip side, the little you, this nigga already doesn't value himself. He doesn't even see past tomorrow. You know, the big I and little you energy is necessary. It's just you got to substitute the you know, the dog eat dog spirit out of it. That's it. But everybody needs to be more humble as far as playing your role, playing your position. Instead of when you run into somebody, there's a reason why you have somebody in your life that is telling you something. Say you brought to their attention something that happened in your day, and they had a whole different approach, and it was much more peace. It was much more clear. You know, it wasn't coming from the spirit of, oh, we got to go get back or shit like that. It ain't coming from the spirit of like just destruction. There's a reason why you'll have somebody like that around you. To me, if you don't have nobody around you like that, oftentimes it's you. Oftentimes it's you, because you know, like you're the type that'd be like, ah, shit, I don't think we should do that. Like you're normally the whistleblower on shit. You're normally the leader. If you don't have nobody checking your shit all the time, shit, you're normally the one that. But leaders need check too, though. I ain't even gonna lie to you. Leaders need check too. Everybody need check. But to stand down and play your role, that's a big part of, you know, living this life shit. Like you gotta play your role, and it doesn't make you smaller than the leader or what have you. Everybody is equal. Everybody is on some shit like, hey, we trying to get to this goal. We're trying to, you know, have a successful company. Oh, we trying to, you know what I mean, grow this business or what have you. If the Quran said, what do you say? If the Quran says the Bible is true, then you're wrong. See, man, like what is he talking about? But yeah, like people just need to, you know, play their position, play your position, man. It's very imperative as far as growth. Sometimes you know you ain't gonna be the big dog in the room. You're not gonna be the, you know, humble yourself. Be quiet. Be quiet. Be a listener. That's a big part of being of communication. Most people don't understand that. They think that communication is about, you know, having a back and forth, and most of it is just listening. Most of it is listening. Even if what you hearing you don't agree, but you computing it and breaking it down within your own self, and then, you know, you react accordingly. It don't have to be irate. It doesn't have to be on some, you know, fuck what he talking about. It don't have to be, you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be that. It can be literally, oh, I hear you, and keep it moving. Like that'll often let you know that, oh, this ain't where I need to be. If he's saying something, if he's able to, or if they're able to take criticism or take disagreement in a healthy manner, shit, so be it. Yeah, voice your opinion after you listen. Let them get it out. Let them, you know what I mean? Let them put the chips on the table. Let them express themselves. That's how you build a healthy situation between a leader and the supporting roles, the workers or what have you. That's how you build that. But if you got, which, you know, I'm sure most of you can relate to this, you really feel voiceless. You really feel like you ain't got no voice in the matter. I could say straight firsthand, I've had experiences that when I'm working for somebody, if I just as a black man, as this black man, as myself, I'll see something very foul, or I see something very fucked up that, you know, is happening in the company that I'm working for. Very foul, you know what I mean? Something that'll make the whole shit go under. And if I speak up on it, it's gonna forfeit my whole position, my little monies, my little check that I get every week. It's gonna forfeit that. You gotta like decide. You're in a damn dilemma. You gotta decide: do I wanna, you know, right from wrong, you know right from wrong, but do I wanna speak up on this and go all the way, or do I just, you know, look to, you know, turn the cheek and be like, I'm gonna be out of here soon, man. This ain't no forever shit. They gonna still be doing this dirty ass operation, but shit, me, I'm gonna be on my way. I'm gonna be the big dog here soon. I'm gonna be the leader soon, and when I become the leader, I'm not gonna be moving on this type of time. You see it and learn from it instead of looking at it and being like assimilating to it, or, you know, not thinking your steps out and just stepping out, you know, jumping out the window and being like, man, fuck what y'all doing here, man. I'm calling the labor board on you or whatever. And then boom, now you fired. You know, if you ain't got no plan B, C, or D and all that shit, it's like, yeah, you asked out. That'd be the dilemma of a lot of people. They be stuck in relationships, stuck in jobs, all that shit, because they really on some big little you right now. They on some little you right now. And it's okay, but don't devalue yourself. That's the only part of the little you that I'll tell you to take out. Don't devalue yourself. Don't feel like you're worthless. But you do got to play the role of, hey, stand down. Stand down. You ain't in position to puff your chest out and, you know, especially if you ain't got no plan in motion. You ain't got shit you ain't got a pot to piss in or none of that. Like, yeah, you got to stand down. Yeah, your leader or whatever it is that you working for is foul, but look at it for what it is. If you step out of line, you gonna forfeit the food on the table, the roof over your head, that quick. How many of you had to call the fucking labor board on the company before? Or how many even know that you can do that? When they playing with your money and you be like, shit, man, I'm calling the labor board. I guarantee you they'll cut that check in like within 2 hours. These is facts. These is facts. facts. So minus the toxic competitiveness, minus the bullshit, you know. I ain't eating, you know, I think of that movie, Paid in Full. Nigga was like, man, I ain't eating, we ain't eating. It's like, nigga, without me, you ain't gonna be eating anyway. The fuck is you talking about? Play your position, and then when you level up, cause that's what's happening right there. Play your position, but when you level up, you do it your way. And in the meantime, shut the fuck up and play your role. You know what I'm saying? In the meantime, shut the fuck up and play your role. And then when you get to the position, yeah, you can do it your way. Yeah, you're gonna deal with your you know what I mean? Your injustices. You're gonna deal with your unfair bullshit. Go tell it to the unfair fairy. You know, like it's not. Do it this way or get the fuck out of here. That's what I had to learn the hard way. Oh, I didn't like how they was doing it. Okay. And I done lost many gigs off of that same exact lesson. Like, oh, I don't like how they doing it. Let me, yeah, fuck them. Let me get the fuck out of here. And then I learned the hard way. Boom, damn, I ain't had a B, C, and D ready. I didn't have the backup plans ready. But if you don't like how they doing it, and you ain't got no black backup plan, shit, shut the fuck up. You know, move on their operation. Yeah, of course, I ain't gonna tell you to do no immoral shit. Don't be walking around there with your ass cheeks bust open, pause. But shit, you know, play your position. Play your fucking position until you can move in the manner of what you need to do. Yeah, I had it done several times. I've had it happen several times where I seen that it was foul from day one. I see you know what I mean, the different things that I don't like from day one. But do I got a pot to piss in? Do I got it? You know what I mean? I don't have the equipment that they got. I don't have the resources that they got. Yeah, I'm overqualified. But at the same time, shit, you ain't got nothing to put in motion. So in the meantime, boom. And I learned this late. For any young, you know, fellas or, you know, young sisters or whoever listening to this. Learn this, that, hey, be a little you, but nah, it ain't on no shit like you devalue yourself, but you playing the role of, hey, yeah, you know, I'm gonna play my role, you know, until I can move up in my position to where I call the shots. You know, I make the rules. I determine my daily. You know what I mean? And I would say you apply that even in your outside of work. You apply that with your family. You apply that with everything you do. Living in a system like this, like, hey, yeah, they might have you know, they so-called Republicans and they Democrats and all that bullshit. Build a world within the world. Groom up your son and your daughters and show them how it really is. Don't cultivate them to get out here and be on some, you know, anti shit. Meaning, you know, especially if they ain't built like that. If they ain't really on that type of time where they, you know, you have a solid foundation, because little U's is the actual foundation. That's what people don't understand. The people is what make this shit go round. people is what make this shit pop. The people is what make everything operate the way it does. And when you have corrupt big eyes, a big eye is corrupt. When you have a corrupt system that you have to follow, you often will inherit those ways, and it's showing right now. It's showing that right now. You have plenty of people that are operating on righteous time, like they're raising their kids up right, and they're operating very righteously in a demon society, and it's been like that for generations. What they'll show you that it's the opposite. They'll show you that they'll take 1% of that group and highlight the fuck shit, and then try to make it seem like, damn man, what are they teaching them kids over there? Or, they mom and dad, mom on drugs, dad in and out of prison, shit like dad ain't around, all that, and that's not the real deal. That's the thing I love about this internet shit, is that a lot of these myths are being debunked. These myths are being debunked. Like fathers not being in their kids' lives and shit like that. When literally black men are the top group that is present in raising their kids, not just popping up here and there, or throwing their mom little monies and shit. Nah, they present. Much respect to all the fathers that do that. They're in their daughter's life, they're in their son's lives. Regardless of the situation, what they, what I mean? The child's mother. That's leadership. Because somebody's watching. Don't always think that it's just, it just reflects on, your loved ones or whatever. Don't always think that it's just your loved ones watching or whatever, or somebody close to you. Nah, it's people that, you know what I mean? Especially with this internet shit, man. Motherfuckers is really watching, man. And it's imperative for you to put your best foot forward. Even if you don't know how, shit, man, you know what I mean? I don't believe in and don't know how. It's like kind of like somebody that know how to eat but say they don't cook. They don't know how to cook. That don't even make sense. It's like, no, you know right from wrong. You know how to do the right thing, man. You definitely know what you're doing wrong. You know what I mean? Know how you can alter it and change your ways. You know when you're uncomfortable, you know who not to be around. You don't want to be around that energy or what have you. You know when it's fake energy, you know when it's real. Big part of moving different, changing your ways is unlearning a lot of shit. Unlearning a lot of things that can even be generational. I posted this a few years ago, like some things that I felt like were generational curses. I could say just based on my experience, I believe us as foundational black Americans, we all deal with the curse of big I and little U's. Meaning, like, boom, follow me. Like, I think that as you get older with your parents, if you have parents around, or any of your elders, you listen to them telling you things, from their experience. Yeah, it could have even saved you. It could have even helped you. No problem. It saved you. It helped you. It gave you a one-up. That's how my people always put it. I gave you a one-up. Now, as you got older, you look at it like, I'm going to do it in a different way then. Like you take it steps further. Like we gonna prevent it. As opposed to being in the fire, and then now we got to figure out how to get out of it. But all that comes back to listening, though. All that comes back to listening. But if you ask me, it all comes back to your maker. Your maker is higher than even your mother and father, man. Your mother and father is operating off of what they mother and father are off of their experiences. You know, your aunts and uncles, anybody that you look up to and think that, you know, they got the answer or whatever, even if it's showing that, they must be doing something right or whatever the fuck. That's for them. Everything don't work it doesn't apply to everybody the same way. But one thing that does is acknowledging your maker, though. You may not be able to get it like how somebody else got it. That's their path. Your path, one thing that hasn't, you know, has how they say the Feds got a 99% conviction rate. Shit, when it comes to God, he's undefeated. That's one person that you could always call on as one, you know, I don't even like to say person, but, you know, entity or whatever it is that you believe in. It's only one maker, but yeah, anyway, you know, that's another topic. But shit, you know, you call on your maker, and that's one person that ain't on no big I and little U type energy. Even though most people would say that God is a selfish God, he just don't want you to put nothing else before him. And as you can see, we're groomed up in a society where we put a lot of shit before God. We put cars, pussy, you know, dick, all that shit. Motherfuckers put everything before God. Women put dick before God. You know, they be putting shit before their kids. Men be putting pussy before God. Little do they know that all that shit is like little you energy, man. All that like you devaluing yourself every day, not tapping into your maker. I'm coming from a spirit, from a space, a time in my life where that's what's important to me. That's what's important to me. And it's making me realize that that's the only way I can live this life fulfillingly. That's the only way I can actually fulfill this life experience, by tapping into my maker. Because then everything else is insanity. Everything else is insanity. I realize that I'm not doing it myself. You know, I got people that are gone, you know, we've all lost people, you know. We've all went through our own walks, our own experiences and what have you. So it's like it hits you different or whatever. It hits you different. But I can say, speaking from my perspective, is that I realized that, man, I was kept. I'm being preserved. I'm being preserved. I could try to move on some big eye energy and shit, and then I get brought right back the fuck down. Even if my God lets me know that I'm a leader, but he's like, you ain't on no big eye energy though, boy. You ain't on no big eye energy. You ain't gonna get it like that. I'm definitely not gonna allow you to get it like that. Even though as flesh, like it comes to your mind. It comes to your mind. Like you're like, man, how can I step on da 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 to get this? Like, and it's like, which that has never come to my. Even though, yeah, you know, I done been in the streets and shit, and that see that shit is groomed naturally. That big eye, little you bullshit. Not to bring up like how the white supremacists always bring up Chicago. There's plenty of cities, inner cities, that are like that, that's dealing with that's just amplified. It's just amplified. A lot of these cities are being cleaned up by small organizations, you know, of brothers putting together, you know, guns down, gloves up, shit like that. You know, people, barbers. I see a lot of pages. They out there, you know, cleaning up, you know, their fellow man, their brothers. You may not know that man, just saying, hey, what's up, man? How you? Have a blessed day. That shit go a long way, man. That ain't operating on none of that bullshit. That's truly genuine energy. Same thing with the ladies, the same shit. You ain't looking at her like what she wearing or you know, hating on her or whatever. Nah, you give her a compliment. That shit go a long way. That'd be the first step, and then we could like actually come together and form some shit. Put aside the big eye and the little you bullshit. But everybody do need to play their role because everybody's not a leader. Most people are the sheep. Most people are the worker. What do you bring to the table? Tap into that. I'm big on that, man. Tap into your talent. What are you good at? What are you great at? What is it that makes your, you know what I mean, your skin you know what makes you get goosebumps type shit, like what, you know what I mean, things that you really enjoy. Like you'll do it without being monetized. You'll do it without having money. The money will come when you can tap into that type of shit, and you get great in that. Like no, you ain't trying to stuff all kind of bullshit into, you know. Like you got 8 arms. Oh, let me do this, and this. I'm like nah. Tap into one thing and then pour all into that. Pour all into that. Hell yeah. Yeah, pour all into whatever it is that you enjoy doing. Of course, make it something that's constructive, not on no destructive shit. Yeah, I actually love this topic, the big eyes and little U's, because it's very much it's very much evident. It's been evident my whole life, so I know it's been evident for before me, before any of us right now, living right now. That's how this country was built, on that exact equation, big eyes and little U's. Fuck you, and I'ma get mine. Now if we change that to where, hey man, what you good at, sis? What you good at, brother? Oh yeah, you in charge of that. You the head of that. Let him run that. Actually have confidence. Actually have support for your brother. or your sister, you know what I mean, actually have that support and that trust, which, you know, trust is a strong word. That if you're on a common goal, if y'all got a common goal, man, shit, it should be a no-brainer. It should be a no-brainer. Like, no, I'm not gonna step out of line just because I see that, yeah, you the leader. You know, you put this team together. You put this team together, and I'm feeling like I ain't getting mine yet. I ain't getting mine yet. That's why I say when it comes to the big I, just subtract that spirit of the I, like, cause really it's I'm the leader, but I'm really for all of us. And then you as a little you, it's like synergy. You play a very significant part in this whole operation, in this whole machine. I think of the Operation BMF. They had it somewhat right. They had it somewhat right. I never was into that all that shit. Even though I grew up in that era, I always looked at it like I just don't respect drug dealers. You know, selling to their own people. I always have a problem with that type of shit. Which I'm sure I know it's hard to go into their neighborhoods and, you know, flood their whole block, put up a whole Carter in their block. I already know. But all I'm saying is like I just never respected sitting up here poisoning your own city, your own fucking neighborhood just to get ahead. I just look at that as crazy to me. Like in the end, you're still eating your own tail. In the end, you're still destroying yourself. That's what happens with a big I. A big I normally destroys itself. And that's what happened with fucking BMF. Respect to them guys on some shit like, hey, they went for it. I'm always I like the go for it attitude, the go for it energy. I like that. But there's a way to do shit. I just don't like that they did it with drugs and shit like that. Like now, if you was to apply Big Meech's determination and his know-how and his, you know what I mean, his grit, all that, if you was to apply that with something else, man, imagine how many brothers and sisters he can be saving right now. I don't know if anybody has ever broke that conversation down to him. Like instead of being known as some drug kingpin and all that bullshit, apply that same fucking tenacity to something else that'll actually be pouring into your community that's constructive. That would be major. And then we still, you know what I mean? He still be Big Meech. He still be, you know what I mean? But he won't be operating on no big I energy. It wouldn't have been on no big I energy. That's what I mean by just subtract the spirit of fuck everybody else to get where you gotta go. That's it. That's it. Anyway, big eye, little U's. Stay safe. Be blessed. Peace.